Okay, we're back on our Mustang. What happened?
What
You were moving it around.
I was just getting started.
We're back on our Mustang now. This is the factory original stuff. The only thing we're going to be using off this is those spindles. That's it. He's actually got brand new. Get out of the way here, please.
Drop that on my foot.
Oh, man. So what you're looking at in all these boxes and all these parts is brand new front and rear high-tech suspension. We're going to go over that in a minute. But I got to get this out. It's stuck in there. Believe that. I had to have that suspension in there to line those strut bar mounts up so I can weld them on the car. This has been a big fucking job. A very, very big, major restoration. What we're doing, is fucking our knees up worse and worse every day we work on this thing. Just want to let you know that. It's a fucked up knee deal. So, like I said, he's got all brand new suspension, and we just ordered all the brakes. 4-wheel disc brake setup from Master Power Brakes. But come on over here and we'll kind of get a gander. I had to take the rear end apart, and if you want to see that video of installing the rear suspension, I got a separate video coming up. So we got brand new bearings on the axles. You know, I don't want to open all this stuff up, but you know, here's a specialty bracket that we had to use to put the brackets on the rear axle that the company that these came from supplied. That was a bracket. And then here we go. Let's see, what's this? This is our lower. Okay, yeah, the lower part. That's the lower part of the rear suspension. So I've been working on that for a week now. But we got all of the G-force cradle. It's called Total Control Components. We got the cradle installed. Now there's other stuff here, we're not going to go through there. So let's go over the car, let's see what's going on. I can't fix the door yet because I got to replace the hinges, the hinge pins and the bushings. If I fix this door and get it to fit into this opening with these hinges the way they are, what do you think is going to happen? When I go to replace the hinge pins and bushings,
It won't fit.
it's going to be off, so I got to wait. So we decided to go ahead and strip the car down, as you can see. All right, we got the fenders, the hood, we got all the doors off. We got the trunk lid off. I got to do a little bit more grinding in the trunk here. I went ahead and did this body work here. So that'll look really nice for the owner on both sides. And I want everybody to take a look at this contraption I made. What we got here, we got a 4x4, 8-footer. If you look at that jack the way it is, this is how we're going to move it from point A to point B to paint the bottom and the top of the car. I went ahead and box that in so the floor jack will fit in there, and then I'll bring my jack stands in there when we get ready to paint.
Yeah.
We got a flat over here. What happened, Minnie? You were supposed to check that.
I put air in it.
Did it blow up?
Nope, but it leaked air out, so that means what? Inner tube has a hole in it.
Okay, well, it looks like you're going to have to take all that apart so we can get the inner tube in it.
Guess what? I know how to do that, and I can't.
So as soon as we get that tire changed out, Minnie was smart and bought 2 inner tubes today instead of 1. So we'll go ahead and change that inner tube out, and then we'll be able to actually put the car on the ground. And it is now time to go ahead and take it down, get it in the paint booth, and we're going to paint the inside, all the inside of the floor and all the structure in there. And then we're going to paint the engine compartment inside and out, and then the complete bottom, and of course the trunk as well. So Minnie, the body shop girl's working hard. can see she's done this before. Tire girl Minnie.
I've changed a tire or two
Yeah.
in my day.
So how does that actually work? How do you take the...
Well, that
Looks like you got a hub on there.
yeah.
You got 4 bolts and a
You
hub.
gotta take these out, and then it just comes
It's a split
apart.
ram.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
comes apart. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get it done. We got to get this thing. I'm gonna get this in the paint booth today.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the Bodyshop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
so we got the car back in the shop. We got to get all this hot rod suspension put on here. I got to get the rear end back in. He's got custom brakes. He's got everything to go on this thing. This is going to be a badass ride. No more Rustang. It is now called the FRANKENSTANG. From this minute on, FRANKENSTANG SWRC right here. Got this thing. Wow. Hey, how y'all doing? This is Pete. We're over at D.I.Y. Auto School, and what we're doing, we are actually working on, I should say, completely restoring a 1968 Mustang Fastback. And this car is for somebody else. It's not my car. So the owner requested that he wants to put the Total Control Chassis Works. Now this is made by a company called Chassis Works. Chris Alston's Chassis Works, the home of higher technology. That's what he calls himself. And it's called Total Control Products. I just read that off that box. So we're going to install this into the 68 Mustang. I'm going to take you through the steps of what it takes. And there is a video or two out there that shows this being installed into the Mustang, but the deal is that it's by the company itself doing it. So I'm Mr. Average Joe guy that's going to do this, and I'm going to install it and give you my opinion on it, how hard it is to put it in, and what it takes to do the job. And here's some instructions. And what a guy like you and me could do at our garage at home by installing this ourselves. Now I will tell you that this kit for the rear end installation, the rear suspension installation, and I believe this turns our Mustang into a 4-link setup, a triangular 4-link setup, and we're going to go over it step by step. And the owner wants to go ahead and put matching front suspension on there, and that's what we're going to do. Now here's our shock springs. This one here says adjustable lower shock. Okay, this must be for our adjustment rings. So this comes with our kit, nuts and bolts, as you can see. This here is part of our subframe system. I can already see that that's not painted, and I'm going to have to paint that. This here is part of our bracketry system for our 4-link setup. It looks like it's actually powder coated. Let's go ahead and open this. I'm thinking this is going to be part of our triangular link system, and I see that those are painted as well. And then here's our coilover shocks, and these shocks are made by a company called Bodyshop. Never heard of them. Got a lot of boxes here, guys. A lot of box action. And this is going to be some of our hardware that's actually a bolt-on, either going to be bolted on or it's going to be welded. And when we get to that, we will find out. So it looks like a side bracket type system that goes on the frame rail itself. Now, I don't know if this box actually goes to the front suspension or the rear suspension. It's got to be for the rear. Let's go ahead and pull that out. And once again, this might be for the front. When they sent all this stuff, they sent it in like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different boxes. I'm trying to figure it out too. Remember, I'm a guy at home in my garage. And we're taking this high-end tech stuff here, and we're seeing if the guy at home right here can actually do this. at home. So let's keep going. This is a frame stiffener that actually goes, so we'll go to that later. Let me go ahead and do this. We're gonna go like that. That is a frame stiffener. I'm sorry. Like I said, okay, they sent all this stuff to me in 29 different boxes, and I'm a dumbass because I'm at home in my garage and I don't know what I'm doing, but I want this on my car, so I bought it all. And, you know, the company says it's an easy peasy situation. Let's go ahead and put it in our car, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And I'm here, Mr. Dumbass, to show you and tell you if it's even worth getting and if it's that hard to put in at your garage at home. Now, remember, a welder is required. Now, what hand tools you need, basically, what the hand tools you're going to need is a full set box of tools. You're going to need wrenches, you're going to need screwdrivers, you're going to need pliers, you're going to need extensions, you're going to need basically everything that you might need to do this job to make the job handy. One thing that I will recommend that you will probably need is a nice, good size hammer. Make sure that it's a D.I.Y. redneck hammer that you're going to use because more than likely you might take that hammer and beat your car with it if this doesn't work out right. So always have a good hammer in your toolbox. Now here's some other parts that we already unpacked that came with the kit, and like I said, we'll go over all this as we use it, and I think that completes all the parts of the kit. Here's a drive shaft loop that the owner purchased. So if the drive shaft breaks, it won't, you know, go up into the floor. And then, yeah, these are our connectors. That's what we're going to call them. We'll call them our connectors for right now. And we are going to install all of this high-tech Y2K compatible suspension into this vehicle. As you can see, it has stock factory suspension in it with 1960-70 circa ladder bar control arms, ladder bars for traction control arms, and we will be removing all that along with this 9-inch Ford rear end. That will be removed out of the vehicle, and we will be welding on that rear end, and we also will have to do some welding up in this area right in here. And then there's the frame rail that we're talking about right here, where that one bracket goes that I showed you, that will possibly be bolted and welded in all together. I want to get all this welding done. I want to get all this suspension installed. Once that's done, then we will take it into the paint booth and paint everything. There's no sense painting this when we're going to be doing welding on it, and there's bare metal brackets that have to be painted and all this other crap. Let's just get this done before we do that and make everybody happy. Actually spraying out here. It's spraying out in Moab, Utah, and if I open the fucking doors up, it's gonna be fucking windier than hell, and dust is gonna fly in my shop. It's gonna be like a giant dust storm. So I don't know if you can see in the background, foreground, in the ground, but you can see we got 4 tires and 4 wheels on the car. Let's go ahead and check that out before we go any further. So at this point in time, we are 99% done, or I should say 95% done with all the rust repair and metal fabrication. We got all the front suspension on it, brand new rack and pinion steering. We went ahead and installed mini tubs into the vehicle when we installed the full quarter panels. We got all of the rear suspension installed. This is the Pro Touring 4-link setup kit, 4-wheel disc brake action. As I zoom my camera around here, you can see we got the frame connectors installed, subframe connectors, both sides, left and right, and also the cradle, or cross-member cradle, whatever you want to call that, so that's installed as well. So we've done a lot of work to this car, and suspension-wise and frame-wise, this thing is as strong as an ox. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to what we were talking about here. I got some parts here that I still got to finish on the rear quarter panel on this side. What that is, that's the drip rail. Now we're not going to replace the whole drip rail, just to let you know. We are only replacing what we need to replace. One more thing, these type of cars, okay, this classic car, it's not going to be driven every day. It's not going to be a daily driver. It's going to be a show car. All right. We can go ahead and replace the whole drip rail if we wanted to, but it would be massive, massive work to do that, and I would have to charge the customer labor as well. So to save money and to save time, we're only going to replace partial drip rail. Now, when you buy these drip rails, you have to buy a set. You can't buy a left or a right. You have to buy everything together as a unit, meaning left and right. I tried to wheel and deal with him and tell him I don't need the right-hand side, all I need is the left side. And he said there's nothing I can do about it. That's how they sell them. So the good news is they weren't that expensive. So if we take a look at this drip rail action, you can see it's in really bad shape, and it's only in bad shape from really right here down. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out right in this area here, and then we will replace just this section right here. Now if we look at the right hand side is actually still usable. You can see it's still got this lip right here. Everything's spot welded nice inside there, and it all looks in working order and working condition. So if we look up in this area here, you can see there's some kind of action going on right here, and I'm going to go ahead and circle that right there. Got some kind of weld action going on across there. So what I'm thinking, if I cut that off right here at this point right here, and then I just come around, I think we'll be able to replace this lower piece here and get away with doing that than replacing the whole thing that doesn't need replaced. So if I come over here, I'm looking at it at this angle right here, and it actually looks the same. I see what it is now. There is a piece right here that is actually on top of this lip right here. So really, to replace this drip rail, to replace this thing, the whole thing, it would be a very, very big clusterfuck. We would get into such a clusterfuck that the clusterfuck would literally turn into a shit show. And to do that, we would literally have to get the clown clock out to actually turn it on to make sure that the shit show doesn't reverse itself and become a diarrhea clusterfuck show, is what goes on here. So to get a better angle of what we're talking about, this is the piece we want, this piece right here. But you can see how it lays on top of that piece, and then this piece lays on top of this piece. If we come up here, I don't know if you can see that line right there, but that's actually the drip rail section right here, this little section, and then this piece here lays on top of that piece, and then there's another piece of this drip rail that goes up at an angle somehow to tie on with the roof structure of the car. So really, to replace this drip rail, the whole drip rail, would really be a clusterfuck shit show all in one that says SWRNC, my friend Pete, DIY Auto School, does not want to fuck with it. So we got to get this out before we do anything. Now we got a lot of brass going on up in here, guys. This was brazed on. This whole section was brazed. So I think we're going to go ahead and cut that right there. That would be our best bet, definitely for sure. And that's where it goes, right there. So I can actually, there it is right there, perfect fit. So I'm going to go ahead and set this right there, just like that. And then I will mark that. And then come over here and mark it here. And then I'll take the two lines and I'll tie them together. And then we'll cut that off. And it should fit in there. I'm not going to say perfect. I'm not going to say that, but it will fit in there and be worthy enough to use. Okay, looky there, guys. Look at that. That fit in there great. Perfect. Perfect fit. Okay, we don't need this anymore. We got what we needed off it. We'll go ahead and throw that in the clusterfuck pile. And then we're going to take this right here and we got to drill some holes out in it. So before I attempt to weld that on there, what I'm going to do is I will take this stuff right here. Alright, this is Permatex rust treatment, Permatex. And what this does, that'll turn that surface rust into a black, hard primer. And that will protect and convert that rust into, it actually kills the rust, basically, is what it does. So if you need a rust inhibitor or a rust mechanism to say, I got surface rust, I want to get rid of it, that is the easiest way to do it, is use the Permatex rust treatment, and it will kill that surface rust, trust me. I've been using that stuff for many years. Yeah, so you can see this lines up perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these vice grips and I'm going to go ahead and clamp it on here to hold it in place for me. So it won't move around. All right, here we go. And I see we had a little bit of an issue right here. That's okay, that's what the grinders are for. Now that we got this side over here welded up, we still got to spot weld our quarter panel to the drip rail. I've already drilled the holes out that need spot welded, and they're very small holes, but what I need to do to ensure that the gap is proper, I need to pound sandwich the quarter panel into the drip rail, just like that. So this isn't really a big deal welding this on, but it is a little bit tricky because we got to get inside there. Okay, there you go. And then we want to go ahead and weld this on. I didn't weld all this corner because I didn't know how much we were going to take off. All right, that looks pretty good. Alright, so there you go. That's your drip rail repair job. It's a done deal right there. And I might say it came out really, really nice. So we'll be able to go ahead and bend this back right here. I'm sorry, I was looking down here. We'll go ahead and bend this back into shape. And now there is a fascia piece that goes on here and covers that, so you won't even see this, but we'll still clean it up and make it look worthy. Did I mention clusterfuck? Did I say that yet? Okay, anybody that needs a drip rail, contact my friend Pete. I have one for sale for the right-hand side of a 67, 68 Mustang. I'll sell you for half price. Half price, right there.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.